that as just lying and saying something happened that didn't or didn't happen that did. But it really is actually just selecting the relevant pieces of information that people pay attention to. So when I studied communications, and when you study mass media, they tell you that the media is not very effective at telling people what their opinions should be. The media, can't take a Fox News viewer and make them a CNN viewer, in other words, but the media is very effective at telling people which pieces of information to think about. So again, if the media was doing a piece on crackers and they just left out the glyphosate in the wheat and they talked about everything else, then that is, it structures what people pay attention to. Without any oversight over that, you just have the Wild West. And what do we do about that? All we have to do is spread awareness of how that works, which is, you talked about how I have my levels and I talk about IQ sometimes too. That's just over everyone's head. So you're in hell and, go to sleep, take a nap, get whatever makes you relax, stock up on it because there isn't any way to leverage this other than to just get information out to people who mostly can't hear it.
What am I missing though? Like my argument with the IQ thing, I'm not saying Rogan has to have 1-to-1. I'm not saying he has 1-to-5. I'm simply
Mhm.
saying if you're going to have 267 people in a row say IQ is fake, how about 1
Mhm.
to 267? Is this not a reasonable request?
Oh, no, 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 sure. So what the point I was making with all that, sorry if it was a little bit
No,
abstract.
you're
The point Yeah, the point I was making is that IQ is, I mean, it's very obviously not just real, but critically important. You just can't deny that people who score higher on IQ tests in large numbers get better outcomes than people who score low. They have lower crime rates, they have more wealth, they stay married longer. They Outcomes are better among high IQ people. This is not an arguable thing. It's not arguable. It's bizarre that people would have any other opinion at all. Well, it's not bizarre, but it's, you know, um, deceitful. And if that's what Joe Rogan is doing, I don't think he's dumb. I think I don't know if maybe he just doesn't know. He's too busy punching people or whatever else he does in his spare time. He's a fighter, I guess. I don't know why he's doing that, if it's malicious or if it's ignorant. But um, my point was, what do you do about it? If he has a bunch of people on who say IQ is not relevant, doesn't matter, and it's obviously wrong, what do you send him a letter? Do you cancel Joe Rogan? What The question I'm most interested in is what power do we have to actually control the information that spreads and then causes those effects? So if you got a bunch of people out there saying IQ doesn't matter, it's not real, that's an enormous problem, obviously. But what do we do without there being oversight? And I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, what you can do, what we should do about it, I don't know. I definitely don't have the answers. He's just too big. If it's a lot of the other researchers and podcasters, you can tag them, you can reply to their comments, you can at least get the message to them. Whether they're going to pay attention or not, that's another question. But he's just too big. Apparently, he doesn't read comments as well. So I don't know.
Well, maybe I'll get on. Joe Rogan follows me. Maybe I'll get on his show and I'll tell him about
Yeah,
IQ.
can you tell him?
I'll bring Douglas Murray.
Yeah, Douglas Murray follows you or Rogan?
No, Rogan follows me. I'll bring Douglas Murray on Rogan if I go. I'll call him.
Well, no, Charles Murray. I want you to say Charles Murray. Not like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Sorry,
no,
sorry.
you're
Charles
fine.
Murray.
Um,
Sorry, too many Murrays.
yes, no, no. You know what? I kept pausing during this space. Every time I went to say Douglas, I just ran it past in my head to make sure I don't say Charles by accident, because
Yeah,
everyone knows I
yeah.
love Charles. But yeah, I mean, the three researchers, Charles Murray is my number one, obviously, preference. Richard Heyer, he's been on Lex Friedman and he's a lecturer. So very,
Mhm.
clean cut. He's not controversial. He just talks very clearly about the science and he's a world researcher. Russell Warren is another one. Any of those three would do an excellent job. So yeah, tell Rogan a condition of your appearances. You have to take Charles Murray, Robert Plomin even, who's been on Sam Harris and on many other podcasts. So yeah, I
Yeah.
just want one, just fucking one. Is it too much to ask? Please get one IQ researcher who'll explain the basics of the G factor of heritability, of all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'll come to you for the list of names for sure.
Please, please. Follow Home Math notifications on Home Math. Stick around or leave, whatever you have to do, brother. Thanks for your time. We
Yeah,
always appreciate you.
I'm gonna run. Yeah, good to see you. All right, bye guys.
Oh, can I just before you go, home math, can I
Oh,
just
sure.
give somebody a home math? And if I get it wrong, I apologize, home math. I'm doing my
Mhm.
best for this.
It's all right.
Home math has this quote that I really like. It's really simple and elegant. So when you find the truth, you find the same truth as everyone else who found the truth.
Yeah.
Said by home math. So I absolutely love that. Absolutely adore you. And home math, if you've not read Douglas Murray's books, I know you're really busy. I'm very well
Mhm.
aware of your schedule to the extent that I'm privy to.
Mhm.
Douglas Murray has the books of The Madness of Crowds, The Strange Death of Europe, The
Mhm.
War on the West. I'm not sure how familiar you are. They're best-selling books for at least for 2 years, straight on 2 year things.
Mhm.
So we can have, and I'm so looking forward to a discussion with you about it
Yeah.
once you've done your videos. I know you're extremely, extremely busy. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here, Home Math.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you so much.
Divisive, did you have some for Home Math or for someone else?
No, I was just going to give I want to thank Home Math for being here, of course, and then I got
Yeah,
something to
sure.
say after that. So I'll let you close down.
All
No,
right. See
hit
ya.
Home Math up because he's about to leave. So hit Home Math for your
Yeah.
question.
Well, I have something
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
no,
Hobart.
go ahead.
Divisive, did you have something for Home Math? If you do, hit him now. Otherwise, I'll circle back to you.
No, just circle back afterwards.
Lovely
Okay.
job. David, did you have something briefly because Home Math has to run?
Yeah, well, so I absolutely like the sentiments that he came in with. Uh, I I will tell you, Dave Smith has no less depth of knowledge on the issue than does Murray, and the foppishness of challenging someone. I don't think it was characterized quite right. The discussion ostensibly was supposed to be about the civilian deaths in the Palestine and whose fault it is, the legitimacy of them in terms of what's going on, but when you start no real intellectual in a debate starts off with, do you have the right to talk, or are you an expert, and self-appointing himself in the process as an expert. And let's not
Mhm.
forget that when Sam Harris started all don't this is the same guy who after Trump lost said censorship was good if it helped Trump lose. Now,
Mhm.
intellectuality, think of it as a political state, of which, in order to gain citizenship, you have to honor its laws and principles. And there are many intelligent expatriates to intellectuality, and Sam Harris is one of them. So you lack all sincerity. You've conceded that when you say
Mhm.
things like that. When you say, "I'm the enemy of truth. I'll take censorship. I'll take falsity." You know, Thomas Sowell wrote a book called Vision of the Anointed, of which he said, you know, when the so-called intellectuals don't feel the responsibility of being checked by the facts, it's a very, very dangerous time, especially when they all begin with the same assumptions, which is why they end up with the same conclusions. So,
Yeah.
from an epistemological standpoint, it's very, very good that these people are taken down. It's very, very good. The person who needs to be challenged the most is someone who's telling you that you shouldn't be challenging them. The person who needs to be heard the most is someone where other people are saying, "Don't listen to that person." So it really is, this is Americanism, really. So that
Mhm.
Ben Franklin, of course, was a polymath in many ways, but he didn't have the imprimatur of some grand education. So how dare he talk about electricity? Who is he to say these things? You know. Well, of course,
Yeah.
we all know that that's a giant con. So I liked where you started off with, because if I hear two people talking and they just talk honestly, I really think that I don't think the truth needs my defense. But so I come to every conversation to learn. In philosophy, we think that the winner of a debate is the person who actually learns, not the person
Mhm.
who convinces the other person of something. But I think when someone's disingenuous and uses these sort of cheap rhetorical tricks, I think it counts against them. Don't you?
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, I agree with all of that. I don't have anything to add or contradict, but you just, what I'm most concerned about is not the philosophical qualities of this phenomenon, but rather the power implications. Like you can't get rid of these people who um disingenuously use debate as a tool of deception or persuasion.
Hmm.
You can't there's nothing we can do about them. And I think that's the problem because it's very easy to use lies, fabrications, deceptive tactics, appeals to emotion, appeals to authority,
Hmm.
repetition, just saying the same thing over. It's very easy if you have enough of a platform to do that to spread bad information or to shut down good information. And it's like, when you say to me, I can't remember your exact wording, that people should, um, the winner of a debate should be the person who learned rather than the person who won. Well, that's like a great sentiment, but how do you make bad actors believe it when they don't want to? That's
Well,
just the more the angle.
that's a great
Yeah.
question, but let's not forget that Jean-Jacques Rousseau said that we're too many clever men, and Nietzsche himself said ignobility has clever on its side. But I think over time we see that they're confined. The left does this extremely well. They're confined to. They're like a magician who keeps doing the same trick after you figure it out. It becomes rather
Mhm.
unpersuasive. You see, we can tell before you came on, we had a couple people come on and talk about kindness and really caring what the other person has to say and that sort of thing. I think that the sincerity comes across in the long, it was Charles Darwin who said, in the long stretch of time, the truth wins out. I think
Mhm.
sincerity comes across. I think the danger is what you alluded to earlier. Buckley alluded to it too years ago, where he said, when the media decide that they're a priestly class whose job isn't to provide you the
Mm,
information, but to tell you what to think, now you're in dangerous
yeah.
times. So I don't think the debates are a danger to us. I think the lack of them is a danger. The lack of a multitude of voices, diversity of voices being able to be heard. And I think we're I think we're in a great time now with X allowing us to do quite the reverse.
Yes, that is one metric or heuristic or whatever that I would agree is a good tool, a good weapon to use against this kind of thing. That when there are no restrictions on what can be said or by whom, the truth does tend to rise to the top. So whenever you're hearing someone say you can't or you're not allowed, that's a good sign of a bad actor.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I do disagree in one area is we shouldn't make it illegal for media to lie because you have to
Mhm.
have the right to be wrong. So ultimately, you'd have to be judging their motives, which becomes a sort of a thought crime. So the answer to odious free speech or deception or lies is simply more free speech. I don't think we could legislate otherwise without being detrimental to the truth itself.
It could be. I'd like to see how it works if we had absolute free speech and everybody saying anything they want with no punishment.
Hmm.
I'd like to see what happened.
Amen.
Well,
Sounds like a Black Mirror episode, but follow Hermath on. That would be epic. Divisive. Hermath, we'll let you go because we know you're in a hurry, but appreciate your time. Stick around or drop
yep.
down, whatever you got to do. We always love to have you, brother.
All right. I'll be around again.
Thank you.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye.
I want to go to Divisive, and then I want to welcome Gary, and then I want to check in with David, Monet, and Roden, and everyone else. Divisive, jump in, brother.
Good afternoon, X family. Thanks everyone for joining us today. We hope you're having a great weekend. We are talking about the Dave Smith versus Douglas Murray debate. Make sure you go down to that purple pill, leave a comment so we know what you're thinking. Hitch is reading the comments, and also do us a favor and repost the space or quote repost. That would be amazing. We have been going for a while now, and we've had some amazing speakers doing